Toonami's back, bitches. Wait, did you say Toonami's back, bitches? That's the official hashtag if you missed it. To celebrate Tom's return to television. Yeah, Toonami's back, bitches. Wait, did you say Toonami's back, bitches? That's the official hashtag if you missed it. To celebrate Tom's return to television.
Hey, my younger generations, and welcome to another Absolution Network special. As the Absolution Network presents AnimeNEXT 2012. Now, this is the first video of two. The other one, which will come out soon after this video, is the Arctic Alley segment. But on this video, you'll be seeing the 3 interviews I conducted at AnimeNEXT 2012. Now, if you have listened to the AnimeNEXT 2012 con report that was released during the summer, these are the same interviews that you heard before. With that being said, you may have heard things in those interviews that you may have not understand. Well, more importantly, that's because I was probably doing hand signals. So here you'll be able to see exactly what I do during an interview and all the jokes you make and that stuff that you may have not gotten in the audio segment because you couldn't see what we were doing, but were funny to us because we could see and now you can see. So with that, let's get right into our interviews with the guests at AnimeNEXT 2012.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, the Absolution Network proudly brings to you Tom's Prerogative special AnimeNEXT interview specials, and we like to remind you, if you're not down with that, we've got 2 words for you. Stay golden. So first up, we are here with Michelle Knotz.
Hello. Like
Knott's Berry Farm or Don Knotz. Wait a minute, that's not the Andy Griffin theme. No. See, my old age is getting to me at all.
If I was related to Don Knotz, that would be awesome. That would be great. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not.
But, you know, she's done Pokemon. You probably best know her as Jessie from Team Rocket, the evil corporation that Ash can't seem to figure out every time is after him. It's like, at some point...
Or how to capture Pikachu.
Yeah. See, at some point you figure, wait a minute, that's disguise, isn't it? But no, she's here, she's going to give us a couple of minutes. So first off, let's start with a generally easy question and let us know, how did you get into the industry?
Well, that might be a long answer, but I won't keep it too long. Let's see. Well, I was a theater major in college, and then I transferred schools, and I studied radio and television broadcasting. So first I got into news, and I worked at a local CBS and NBC affiliate in Pennsylvania, and then I moved back here to New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. Yay, Jersey!
Yay, Jersey!
And
we're better than Florida!
I worked at MSNBC for a little bit, and I didn't like news. And I always loved cartoons, and I loved animation. Especially loved anime. I love Japanese animation. And I used to watch, they had like The Rising Sun and Toonami on, because I worked all different countries.
Which is back, by the way.
Yay! I'm so happy. So I used to watch that during my breaks. And a lot of my coworkers would say, why don't you get into that? You know, you seem like you really like that more than news, because news was too depressing to me. It was too real. So that was kind of my transition to voiceovers. And I don't know if you heard of the Big Apple Anime Fest in 2003. I entered into the voice acting contest and I won, which was cool. So my first role was Hajime Yagi in The World of Norway. And from there I said, this is what I want to do for a living, you know. I'd rather do this than work in news or radio or anything. I really want to bring characters to life, you know, and this is where I want to be. So I, you know, got a voice coach and I made a demo, and the rest is history. Just kind of took off from there, yeah.
Well, so obviously you're not the first person to play Jessie from Pokemon,
right?
Yes.
We started season 9.
Season 9. So, but you're still part of a massive franchise that's slowly taking over the world. You know, when the nuclear bomb drops, it's going to be like cockroaches and Pokemon. But being part of such a massive franchise like Pokemon, does the voice work get easier or harder as you go along?
For that specific show, It always depends because there's always new Pokemon coming up. Like right now, I'm the voice of Snivy, and like a bunch of other different Pokemon, like Cottony and Minccino, and there's always different little nuances about the Pokemon that you kind of have to, bring them to life, like the original Japanese Seiryu, or the voice actors that they bring them to life. So there's always challenges when it comes to voiceovers, especially when you're auditioning for different things like video games or audiobooks or commercials or things like that. There's always different challenges. So I don't like to get lazy with what I do. I always like to practice and prepare and, definitely stay focused.
Yeah.
With what I'm doing. Yeah.
So next question is, you've done some dark, serious roles, and you've done some light comedic roles, like, I don't know, Ikitosen, Queensblade, whatever other fan service shows you've done that I enjoy. As I look at my imaginary watch, don't worry, I did that to Scott McNeil too. So, which do you prefer more, dark, serious roles or light comedic roles?
I don't know. I kind of like both because it always brings your acting skills to life more. Because I was a theater major, and then I did radio and TV broadcasting. But the most important word that I say in voice acting is acting. So for all you wannabe voice actors out there, take acting classes.
Acting!
Acting!
Like the ghost from Doug Walker. Timing! Which also goes along with acting. To play like darker series or lighter series, I think it really brings the challenge to voice actors and actresses. Yes. And if you could bring that to the table, then people think that's great. That you're not just typecasted. You're not just doing one particular role. You're not focused on just being funny. You're not just focused on just being serious. You can do other things. Absolutely. So, which is cool. Oh, absolutely. Trust me, I love Ikitosen and Queensblade. So, you don't want to ask. So besides, of course, all your Pokemon roles, outside of that, which roles besides those have you bonded with the most?
Have I bonded with the most? Wow.
Like maybe a closer connection to the characters.
It's funny because always when you audition for something in voice acting, you have to try and become that character to make it more believable and make it more real. I don't know. I think the most that I've bonded with, her name is Ogiwe Chika in Genshiken. And Genshiken is an anime series about anime fans.
Oh, it's about otaku.
Exactly, it's about otaku, and I think it's a great, funny series. And it's also serious too. And Ogiwe is great because she's kind of a closeted yaoi fan.
Aren't all girls?
Aren't we all, ladies? Come on. You can tell me the truth, okay. And she's an artist, and she likes to draw different, shonen ai and things like that. But she's really, really shy, and she doesn't know how to break out of that shell. And I really wanted to. I did a lot of research on the character, and I read the manga because obviously most anime is manga first, and then they make a series out of it. So I read the manga, and I really wanted to get into the character and develop her because she's so complex. You think she's like one-sided, like she's like, oh, I'm not an otaku, I hate fanboys and I hate fangirls, but she's really not because she is one, but she's so conflicted with that inside because of how other people, feel about fans sometimes. So I think her, I feel closest to. She was really cool to play.
Absolutely. So final question that we'll do real quick. Is in the everlasting quest to find out a better way to say what's your favorite character. Which roles do you wish people would pay more attention to? Like, you did this role, you really liked how you performed in it, and maybe people haven't seen it as much.
Probably Genshiken. A lot of people don't know what Genshiken is.
Well, I know what Genshiken is.
Genshiken, it's a really good series because it's so funny because it's about otaku. So it's like, why would you not watch this series? It's because it's all about them. And they're college students. So if you're a college student, why wouldn't you check something like that out? I think it's great. I think it's a great, fun series. I just voiced Elisa Boskanovich in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, so get Street Fighter Cross Tekken. But that's a more popular series that a lot of people would probably know about. Let's see, I don't know. Kuji Biki Unbalanced, which is kind of a spin-off of Genshiken.
Yeah, again.
that's a really funny, I think it's a hilarious series. It's really cute. I played Koyuki Asagiri in that. And that's another one of like an obscure anime that a lot of people don't know about. But I think they should, because it's really funny and really crazy and out there that some anime can become, you know.
Absolutely.
Some can be really serious, and then they can be really crazy. So I really like that one. So yeah, get Shiken and Kujibiki on balance, because they're awesome.
Well, thank you, fans, for listening to this interview. We'll be back in another second with another interview. But Michelle, thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be back with another interview in just a second. Hey there, my Toonami generation. We are back with another interview, and we are here with the legendary Kyle Hebert.
Hello.
My Kumbaya brother from ShadowCon 2011.
Awesome.
You still remember that, don't you?
Good times. Good times.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, in 2010, excuse me, for ShadowCon, somebody had the smart idea, let's schedule Kyle's and Kara's guest panel at 9 o'clock at night. And besides me, Gene, and Chris, 2 other people showed up. So it's just us singing Kumbaya, and it was the greatest panel ever.
Awesome. I think there should be more nighttime random song singing
panels.
Absolutely.
So, but Kyle is here at AnimeNEXT, and we're going to ask him a few questions. So, first off, since we are a new network, let's start with the basic, easy question. How did you get started in the industry?
The industry. It came to me. They offered, hey, Kyle, we're going to give you a job, make you a millionaire. If only we're that simple. Now, I came at this from radio. Most voice actors come from on stage, on film, and I was always too shy for that, quite honestly. I wanted to do 2 things since I was a kid. I wanted to be on the air, you know, on the radio, be a DJ. Not a DJ, but, you know, actual, hey, coming up, this is, that was, and all that. And I wanted to also voice for cartoons. That started like when I was probably 8 or 9, I think Looney Tunes for the first time.
Yeah.
That really planted the seed. So I ended up getting a degree in radio, TV, film, got an internship at ABC Radio Networks in Dallas, worked there for many years, and by the time I was working on a Radio Disney...
As Squeege.
As Squeege. How's that for a DJ name? Yeah, I heard that was back in the summer of 2000, so 12 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. DBZ had the #1 slot on Cartoon Network and Funimation. They opened up their doors to talking about promotions with Radio Disney, and that ended up happening. We gave away merchandise on the air and everything, but they also said, hey, by the way, there's some open auditions coming in on DBZ, and they told me about it, and I jumped all over it, got really lucky. And I was already a fan of DBZ from years previous, so I previously on Dragon Ball, I used to literally go around the house imitating Doc Harris, the narrator from the Canadian version. And then I ended up getting Teen Gohan and taking over the narrator part from Dale Kelly, who was imitating Doc Harris, and slowly inherited some Chris Sabat characters like you know, Ox King and whatnot. But Teen Gohan was the very first thing I tried out for and ended up getting. So that was a big achievement unlocked for me personally.
Achievement unlocked. So it was. So you were playing Xbox for life?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I'm a casual gamer, you know, I'm not hardcore about anything.
Yeah, well, if you saw the press conference the other day, your heart probably... Hi, I'm Usher. I'm here to ruin the Microsoft press conference.
Oh, what is up with that?
So, of course, you've done animation, you've done video games. So, for you personally, what is the biggest difference between prepping and doing the voice work for a video game and animation?
There's actually no prep work involved other than, you know, you answer the call and they say, hey, are you available Tuesday from 10 to 1? I'm like, yes, all right, be here and such time and such location. If you're lucky, they'll tell you what it's for. But you don't get the script ahead of time. You don't get anything to study, no materials, and it's like, hey, who am I playing so I can wiki it or something, or YouTube some videos. Like, no, none of that. You show up completely cold. You're a blank slate. Director catches you up to speed in under a minute. Like, this is what's happening, and this is what your character's doing, and go. And we're off and running like an assembly line. Like, cue up the video, here's the first line, watch it in Japanese to match the timing and how loud or soft it needs to be, and then, all right, record, take. Director decides, do one more. Yeah, boom. Sometimes it's a one take Jake, other times it takes 4 or 5. Then we just kind of slam through it in order. And if there's multiple characters, then we do it one character at a time. So I'll do a session with all my main character stuff, and then they'll say, all right, now we're going to have you do some bit parts. We'll have you do Walla, which is the background stuff, you know, crowd scenes and everything. So I'll do Man A or City Folk C, and then like, all right, so from this time to this time, 45 seconds of chatter about, oh my gosh, I can't believe the spaceships are coming, the aliens are taking over, and you get to make up dialogue at that point. All the Walla, all the background voices sometimes have that freedom, but generally it is scripted. So that's yeah, prepping. Same thing with video games. Told nothing in advance. Show up to the session. The client's usually there, a writer, a producer from the gaming company, along with the director. It's kind of
tell you how to die and how to grunt.
Exactly.
Which I had experience learning how to die from Kyle, by the way.
Yeah, I'm doing that. That's my next panel, actually. We're going to kill people at our workshop, literally. And we're going to let the audience decide their fate. It's like, all right, now give me the sound of someone on fire. All right, now let's decapitate you. All right, now let's have you hurl off a cliff and be impaled.
Well, if I wasn't coughing so much this weekend, I would join you. So, of course, you've done a lot of legacy characters, very popular characters like Dragon Ball Z, Kamina, Ryu from Street Fighter. Of the legacy characters that you've done, which do you feel you've had the closest bonding with?
Well, DBZ will always be super special to my heart because that's what literally started my career. And you know, if I weren't on DBZ, that wouldn't have led to other opportunities because that was my calling card. And that by the time I moved to LA 7 years ago, thanks to Steve Bloom, who was kind of shipping me around to different studios, going, "Hey, we got an import from Texas. He's new. Be good to him. He was on DBZ." So I kind of said, "Wow, this is cool. Wow, this guy's really opened doors for me." So I owe a lot to Steve Bloom.
Yeah. So next question is, of the recent roles you do, and I'm not talking about roles you can't talk about because we know there's always roles you can't talk about, but zip lip. But I'm talking about roles that, you know, recent roles, the past couple of years that are out. Which of those do you find you've really connected to?
Kamina really meant a lot. Because that's the first time I had such a big, iconic character on an anime in many years.
Who died by episode 6.
Well, 8, but yeah, it's like, wow, he makes it through a third of the show, really, that's it? But yeah, that was, but he had a huge impact on the show, and obviously that's what affected the story best, I guess, to move it forward. So I guess, other than completely selfish motivations as an actor, make him live through the entire series. It's like, I understand what they were going for, and it has more emotional resonance that way. So, yeah, Kamina's pretty awesome.
Well, not to, because it had nothing to do with your voice acting, but when they killed him off, I was cheering.
Oh, my. Well, okay, everyone else likes Kamina.
But final question, of the roles that you've done, which roles would you like people maybe to check out more because you thought you did a really good job with this character and maybe it was a series not a lot of people saw?
Mm-hmm. I was particularly proud of, because I didn't get to use this sort of sound of my voice. I got to explore this sound with Jensen on Iron Man, the anime series. I was the lead villain on that. Not a lot of people saw it, but it was on G4 and now it's on DVD. I wish it was on Blu-ray.
Well, not a lot of people saw it because it was on G4 and nobody has G4.
But boom! But it is available now. I saw it at Target.
Yeah,
you can get it at Target.
Target for $20.
Yeah, or $15 even.
Well, at that point, you're playing. That's another legacy. Well, it's not a legacy character, but you're part of a legacy series.
Series, yeah. I'm in the Marvelverse, and let's see. I was proud of that. Another one, just another personal achievement unlocked, is Super Skrull in the Avengers cartoon, which aired in Australia last week, and it's going to air in the States on Disney XD in July. So I'm finally on a cartoon. This is what I've been wanting since childhood.
Not to burst the bubble again, but yes, you're appearing in a series that's going to be canceled.
Well, there's a difference. This is the verbiage. Canceled, not renewed. It's not being renewed. So it's not like they're going to say, "Oh, we're just going to stop showing it all of a sudden."
Yeah.
They made the episodes. They're going to air.
Yeah.
They're going to probably come out on DVD and Netflix and all that eventually. But yes, they're kind of rebooting with a brand new Avengers cartoon. And the way I look at it is, okay, I'll just get the tryout for Captain America and Iron Man again, and Hulk and all that. I mean, maybe I'll get a shot at that. Hopefully. Hi, Marvel. Remember me? Hired me a lot. X-Men Arcade, Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Your trailers for Fear Itself, and the new Hulk series from last year. Hey, I'm your guy.
I don't blame you. I play the insecurity of Joe Quesada personally, but that's besides the point.
Alright.
I'm not going to get into comics. That's a whole other conversation.
Fair enough.
So thank you, Kyle, for spending some time for us and having some fun. You will always be just embodied brothers from ShadowCon.
Kumbaya, my lord.
Kumbaya. I sang that when I got home. My mom just dropped her knees and said, "Where did I go wrong? Speak to me, Jesus!"
We had a spiritual awakening at MetroCon, Florida.
Which scared me personally because, you know, we're Jewish.
Oh. Well then.
My mother hates when I do that joke, but yeah, thank you, Kyle. Yo.
Oi. This man, what are you gonna do? Now stereotype, sorry.
Yeah.
This is getting racist! Oh no.
But it's true. That does makes it okay.
Alright then. Peace and love, folks.
Yes, thank you, and we will be back with another interview in just... Hey there, anime fans and my Toonami generation. We are back here at AnimeNEXT interview special here with our good friend Cara Edwards.
What's going on?
You know what? Sooner or later, I'm gonna get you on my Christmas. I'm sorry, I have to call it by what it is. We're now calling it the Thomas's 8 Crazy Nights special, because to get the full Jewish experience of Hanukkah, we do 4 interviews a night, and then we say, you know what? Oh, screw it.
Nice. It'll have to happen. It'll have to happen.
So, but you know, Cara's here. We're gonna ask.
Here now.
Yep. Usually this is the part where we talk about how you get into the industry, but I think we have a better question. Let's talk about flying panties, because you're obsessed with flying panties.
That's a lead-in. Yeah, flying panties. There's a show that I voiced that's out now called Heaven's Lost Property, and one of the opening scenes to the series is there are literally panties flying through the air. So we call it the Flying Panty Show.
They're the mighty panties. They form the Flying V.
Yeah.
And they beat Iceland in the finals.
Yeah. It's actually, what's funny is, yes, it's a panty show. And in the humor, I kind of equate it to like Weird Science. Like it's kind of got that frat boy humor.
Weird Science.
You know, lots of locker room action, lots of innuendo. But
I'm sorry.
I love this show.
After this, do I make you horny?
Oh, Lord.
Have you told them I watched that show way too much? Or that movie, excuse me.
Yeah. It's a great show, and I voiced the character Nymph. I love this show. I'm so proud of this show because even though it's a panty show and it's kind of silly and fun, Nymph, she actually goes through some very dramatic things. Like I got to actually act out some really cool stuff. She lives a tough little life, and that was a lot of fun to do.
Well, since we talked about flying panties, real quickly, like in 30 seconds, how did you get into the industry? We know that you started off doing radio.
I'm gonna try to do the I was teaching inline skating classes. One of my students said, "Hey, you should do radio," and I said, "Not with this Minnie Mouse voice." And they said, "Hey, how ironic, because it's Radio Disney." And so I was hired by Radio Disney. I worked with a guy named Kyle Hebert. We had the Squeegee Carrot show.
I don't think anybody's heard of him.
6 years. I love Kyle.
We love you, Kyle.
We love you, Kyle. I did Radio Disney for 6 years. I got my first agent. She heard me talking on the radio, signed me on the spot. I went to an open call audition in Dallas, Fort Worth for Dragon Ball Z. Got cast, started doing anime, decided to pursue radio, followed a radio job all around the country, did morning radio for a long time, and then 6 years ago quit radio, went full-time in voiceover, moved back to Dallas, Texas, started doing anime again, but I've been doing a lot of commercial work, a lot of narration, a lot of everything. But some really cool, like Heaven's Lost Property that just came out. Oh my goodness, my mind just went blank. Black Butler. I actually have some shows that I'm working on right now that I can't talk about, but I'm really excited about. I have a couple of characters that, in fact, I am currently in the middle of voicing my single favorite character I've ever voiced. This character, it's a boy, beats Goten. As a favorite.
See, you have to make it hard on us interviewers, don't you?
I know. This one's good. This one's really, really good, and he's funny.
So, again, real quick though, next question is, what's harder to voice, a child or an adult?
I actually don't find male versus female is actually probably boy voices are hard for me to do. If you hear me voicing boys, they're all Goten. I have one boy voice that kind of doesn't change unless I do an accent. It really depends on the character. Difficulty is really based on the character, and you know, when you identify with the character, even if it's like scenes that I did a show that I did not put my name on, but I'm so proud of this character. And she was, I mean, it was so tortured, and it was such an intense performance that I had to do. And you would think, oh, that must have been really difficult. But I identified with her so much. And somebody's figured out my stage name, so it wouldn't be hard to figure out what show I'm talking about. So I think it's more about like the performance, and do you identify, and sometimes you get these characters that are just like, yeah, I'm not totally feeling it. I think that's when it gets difficult.
Okay. And now, of course, you've done some darker roles. You've done some more lighter comedic roles,
yes,
like Flying Panties and Heaven's Lost Property. So which do you prefer, darker roles, serious roles, or lighter comedic roles?
I like them both. If I have a preference, if I had to say one, I think the darker stuff, because I have such a young voice and I'm such a bubbly personality that a lot of times when I'm voicing shows or voicing characters like Nymph or Goten or Videl, or they're me. Like, that's kind of my personality. So when I have to do really intense acting and I'm doing a role like, you know, Mina in Darker Than Black, or I wish I could say the name of this show. That character that's really intense and really dark, it's so out of my element, and then I get to kind of tap into another side of me that I thoroughly enjoy. I especially love when a director, if it's a director I haven't worked with and they don't have the stereotype of me already, and they cast me completely against type and give me a chance to do something really cool, like, that's my favorite.
So, of your recent roles, not including the one you can't talk about, but ones that you can talk about, which characters do you find you've bonded with the most?
That's a great question.
I'm just full of great questions.
I think Videl, and I know that that's kind of an easy go-to answer because obviously Dragon Ball Z was a really big show. Videl, this actually hit me 2 weeks ago. I was at a convention and somebody said, you know, how do you think you're like Videl? And it was the first time I had thought about it, and so now I think, and my answer surprised even me, and it was, if you think about the character Videl, she's this really tough girl. She was raised to be, you know, she's a tomboy. She was raised to be super, super tough. I mean, her dad is Mr. Satan. But at the same time, she's very vulnerable. She's a girl who likes a boy, and she wants the boy to like her, but she doesn't want to give away too much because she's the tough girl, so she doesn't want to be, you know... So it's this kind of inner conflict that goes on with Videl, where she's like, I'm awesome, no I'm not, I'm insecure, and I want you to like me, and do you like my hair? But I don't care that you like my hair, because I'm cool. So I think all females can identify with what that feels like to have a crush, or have something that you really want, and have that inner, like, insecurity, vulnerability, I'm scared, no I'm not, I'm cool, no I'm not. So, yeah, I think Videl.
So last question, of the roles that you've done that you can talk about, we have to, you know what, Funimation, just give us a, you know, legal document saying we promise not to air this until this point. We promise, you know what, just let's get it out of the way.
This is how we keep you guys coming back. We just, you know,
unfortunately, this is why we have to do 5,000 interviews. Right? But the last question is, of the roles that you've done, which role would you have liked people maybe to check out more? Maybe it's a role where you did a really good job on a voice, but maybe not a lot of people have seen it.
Okay, great. Another really good question. Chaos Head. Boy,
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing because it's bad. No, it's a good anime. It's a
good anime, and I love that character Kozue is the one that I voice, and it was memorable. And I guess maybe I think about roles from like, which ones are the most memorable, which one, you know, when it comes to recording the experiences and who I was working with. And maybe for me it's less about the show and more about the experience that I went through. And that was Caitlin Glass was the director on Chaos Head, and it was a really cool experience. The characters in the show are great actors. I think I was really surprised that Chaos Head barely made a blip. Obviously Heaven's Lost Property I'm super proud of. What are some of the other ones? I mean, boy, these next couple coming out, I really hope people love them. Yeah, I'm gonna say Chaos Head. I was surprised that didn't make a bigger impact.
Yeah, Chaos Head's a really good show. I've seen actually the entire show. I saw it when it came out. I think it was on Crunchyroll. It's just that I laughed at when the first thought that comes to mind when I think of Chaos Head is the guy in the room with all the figures, and
Yeah, but how many people can identify with that? I mean, seriously.
Unfortunately, I can't identify with myself. Unfortunately, if you see my room.
Like, if you saw my studio, I'm serious. Like, I'm a total. Like, if you walked in my studio where I record, I have my own studio, and when you walk in, and it's this huge room, and it is literally nothing but like memorabilia and action figures, and I have Star Wars action figures that are signed by the people. I've got Walking Dead action figures. I've got, like, I'm a total nerd. Yeah. And so I identify with shows about nerds. I get it. I like it.
Well, thank you, Cara, for spending some time.
Word.
We are going to get you this year on the Absolution Network Christmas Holiday Special. We are, I promise you somehow. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Toonami Generation Absolution Network Tom Prerogative AnimeNEXT Interview Special. Now, they have to haul me away because I quoted Weird Science. But thank you for tuning in, and until next time, Toonami Generation, stay golden.
Toonami's back, bitches. Wait, did you say Toonami's back, bitches? That's the official hashtag if you missed it. To celebrate Tom's return to television. Yeah, Toonami's back, bitches. Wait, did you say Toonami's back, bitches? That's the official hashtag if you missed it. To celebrate Tom's return to television. Welcome to the anime action fan sanctuary, with Tom providing that slick commentary. The other king of television.